Hi, I'm Lynette and welcome. Today I am going to be showing you my concealer collection, and I'm also going to do a little bit of decluttering. I have 63 concealers, actual concealers, but I only have 12 different 12, 13, 14, like maybe 20 different brands, but there are 63. And that's because, you know, I find a concealer that I like and then I buy multiples. Yeah, or I'm not sure what shade I am, and so I'll buy multiples to figure it out, and then I find out that I like it, and then I buy multiples of it and backups, and that, my friends, is how you end up with way too much concealer. So today I'm going to go through them all. I'm going to show them all to you, and then I'm gonna throw some away because this has gotten way out of control. I found, in going through gathering all my concealers, I found concealers I didn't even know I had, and that is bad. So hopefully this won't take too long, and let's get started. Let me know, do you have a problem with concealers like I do? All right, let's get started. Okay, let's start off with apparently a concealer I really like, and that is the LA Girl Pro HD Concealer. And as you can see, I have it in multiple shades. This is a cream concealer and it's from the drugstore, so it's very affordable. I think it's like $3.99 or $4.99 depending on where you purchase it. And to be so inexpensive, they're really, really nice. I actually have a couple more of the orange ones because they have concealers and then they have correctors. So I have the orange correctors because, of course, that works best for my darker skin tone and my really deep dark under eye circles. So when I want to try to cancel out my dark circles, and I don't always go in with a corrector, and I should, but when I do decide to do color correction under my eyes, I use this one right here, and it's the corrector in the shade orange. Actually they call it, yeah, orange corrector. So again, I have probably like 2 or 3 more of these that I failed to bring out of my drawer. I meant to bring everything out, but yeah, I'm going to keep this and I'm going to keep those other 2 because this, I actually use. So now for the rest of these, when I first purchased these concealers, I bought them online because they were like more affordable. I got a lot of them, I think from Amazon. You could buy a bunch of them and for pretty cheap. And so I bought some, and then when I figured out what my correct shade was, then I would buy multiples of that. This is a really nice concealer. The coverage is really good, and set under powder, it stays all day. And I could say that probably about all of these concealers. So I am definitely going to get rid of these. Now, some of these that don't work for my skin tone, I just never used, and then the really light ones I would use as an eyeshadow base. But since I now have an actual eyeshadow base that I really like, the P. Louise, I don't feel the need to use concealer as base anymore. And concealer isn't the best thing to use as a base for your eyeshadow because, if you have oily eyelids like I do, concealer just creases. So I'm going to be getting rid of some of these. Now, it turns out that fawn is a nice shade for me for highlighting under my eyes. So I'm going to keep the shade fawn. It looks like this is the only fawn that I have. Okay. So I have it in cool tan. I have it in toffee. I bought several in toast, it looks like. No, dark cocoa. You can conceal with these also, but I don't conceal generally with cream products, so I don't really feel a need to hold on to these. Warm Honey. Boy, I got Chestnut. Maybe I should keep Chestnut. I feel like I haven't used this in a while. Some of these I haven't used in years, but I feel like Chestnut was probably a good concealer shade for me, and Fawn is a good highlighting shade for me. So I'm gonna keep Chestnut, and this is Dark Cocoa. Yeah, so I'll keep Chestnut. And this is the concealer Corrector. I actually think this has a little shimmer in it. It does. I was hoping that I could get it in white, because I think this concealer comes in white, but I was never able to find it because, you know, when I used it as an eyeshadow base, the white would be for bright or pastel colored eyeshadows, and I never found it. And I think this has a little shimmer in it, so it just didn't work. So I'm going to get rid of these, and I'm just going to keep these. So I'm going to keep one in Fawn and two in Chestnut, and then the others I'm going to get rid of. Okay, next up are my concealers from Sephora, and these are really nice concealers. They're liquid concealers, and the coverage is pretty good. It's not full coverage, but it's nice. It blends out really nicely, and I think they're like $14, and they come in a whole host of different shades for deeper skin tones, and it's a really, really nice concealer. Now, I'm someone that's never liked to pay like $25 to $30 for a high-end concealer. So these seem like a more affordable option for me, and they work really, really well. I haven't used these in a really long time though, and I actually forgot about them. So the shade that works for me, I believe, is Dolce. Is it Dolce de Leche? I'm not even sure. These might not even be the shades that work for me. They also have these in correctors, and I did buy a orange corrector recently, and Sephora sent me a whole box of them. I ordered only one, and they sent me a whole box of the orange corrector. And come to find out that I don't like it because it's really, really thin. The orange corrector is really, really thin, and you got to really build it up. I had to wait for it to dry, and so that I could layer it to build up the shade, and that's just not something I want to do. And I'm not sure, this is one that I bought in multiple colors before I found out the one that worked for me, and I don't know if any of these work for me. I know that I have used some of these concealers up and thrown them out because I just used them all up. Yeah, that doesn't work for me. So I think I used up all the colors that worked for me, and then these were the leftovers. So I'm going to be decluttering all of these. Okay, next up are the concealers from Revolution, and these are the Conceal and Define. And these were the concealers that when they first came out, due to the packaging and the doe foot, everyone thought it was a dupe for the Tarte Shape Tape. I found that it was not a dupe. It doesn't have as much coverage as the Tarte Shape Tape, but I found that I actually like these better, and I really like them. Again, more like medium coverage, but I rarely wear just one concealer under my eyes. I usually combine two concealers. They might be the same concealer in different shades or from two different brands, but normally I use two concealers, one to conceal and one to highlight. So the medium coverage doesn't really bother me. I think what I like about these is that they are not like super matte under the eye. So as you can see, I have a few different shades of these, and these were also concealers that I would use as an eyeshadow base when I was using concealers as an eyeshadow base. Again, I don't do that anymore, so I don't need all of these concealers. Now, when these concealers first came out, the shade range was not as expansive as it is now. So I bought what was available, and then when they expanded the shade range, they did actually come out with a shade that really works well for me. That's 13. That's 12.5. 12.5 works better for me as a concealer shade. And so, yeah, so I will be keeping both of these in 12.5. So I think I'm going to keep, and this is a brand new one, so ridiculous. So I'm going to keep the two C13s as well. And then these just don't work for me. They're not the right undertone. They're too neutral and too light. And so these three, C12, C11, oh, and C1. I bought C1 in the hopes that it would be a white one. I think they actually have a white one, but these white concealers are very elusive. At least for me, I can't ever seem to find them. So yeah, I was using these as eyeshadow bases, and I don't need that anymore. So these I'm going to get rid of. My next grouping is a more recent purchase, and these are the I Am Magic concealers from Juvia's place. And if you've been watching me recently, you know that I recently purchased these, and I've been trying to find the right brightening shade. I was dead on, I was spot on the first one that I purchased, which is in the shade 11. And this one is a nice concealer shade for me, so this I like. And you can see how big and fat these are. It's like, oh my goodness, this should last me forever. This is a thinner consistency, blend out really nicely, and the coverage is not bad. It's decent coverage. It's not full in my opinion, but I have really dark under eyes, but it's good, especially if you let it sit. I let it sit. All my concealers I try to let sit for a little bit before I blend them out. That gives me better coverage. So I've actually been using this one. Again, I mix it with other concealers, but I like this one. And then these are my two newest acquisitions, trying to find the elusive highlighting shade, and these just don't work. They really don't work for me. And I want them to work because I just bought them and it's a lot of product, but they just don't work. I've tried to make it work and it just doesn't work. So as much as this pains me to say, I'm going to get rid of these two. I wish I knew people that could wear them, but I don't. Thankfully, I didn't pay full price for these. I think they're like $14, and I always got them on like a half off sale. So, but still, it's money wasted, which, you know, annoys me. But I just don't want all these concealers that I'm not using to continue to take up space in my collection. So I'm going to get rid of these, and I'm going to keep number 11. Okay, my next grouping is from Colourpop, and these are the No Filter concealers. I really like this concealer, and this is the only concealer I use for my face. All the other ones I use under my eye, and this is one that I only use on my face because it is a matte concealer. It's too matte to go under my crepey, wrinkled under eyes, so I use them on my face. The coverage is really, really good, and usually I use the concealer every single day. Anytime I do my makeup, I should say, I usually use one of these concealers. So this is my winter shade. So this is what I use to conceal blemishes and stuff on my face in the winter time. That matches me best, dark 46. And then deep 70 is what I use in the summertime. Like now, this is what I use to conceal on my face. And as you can see, I think these are all, okay, this is deep 75. They're all, oh, these two are not. So all these are deep 70. I don't know why they're all open. I don't know why. You see they're dirty, right? Because they're used. I don't know why they're all open. There used to be a time when I would go, and anytime Colourpop had a sale, I would go and stock up on these. So because I use them all the time, I would go and buy 2 and 3 of them. And it looks like I'm going to need some more of this one because I got plenty of this one. So these 4 I'm going to keep because this is what I'm currently using. So these 2 do not work, so I will be decluttering these. The next grouping is from Maybelline, and these are the Instant Age Rewind Concealers. These are the concealers that have been out for a million years, but Maybelline only in the last few years expanded the shade range to include black people. So, you know, I begrudgingly went and tried it because everyone loved this concealer. And so now that I had a chance to actually try it, I said, well, let me go ahead and try it. And I actually really like it. It's a liquid concealer, but the consistency is on the thick side, and it has the sponge applicator. As you can see, these have all been used. And I didn't think you click. There's a click mechanism, and then the product comes up through the sponge. And I wasn't crazy about the sponge applicator at first, just for, I don't know, it just didn't seem very hygienic, but I actually like the application. It's very easy. And this is a nice, affordable concealer option from the drugstore. It's not too drying under my eyes, even set under powder, lasts all day long. I know that I have used 1 or 2 of these up and have repurchased. So, and then you can see these are mostly used up as well. So this was a concealer I don't use anymore because I've forgotten about it, to be honest with you, but I will definitely be using it again because it's a great concealer. And yeah, and I want to finish them up. So I have them in the shades Hazelnut, Tan, and Caramel. I really like the fact that I have concealers in different shades that I can use all year round at an affordable price in the drugstore. So I will be keeping all of these. Okay, the next grouping is also from Maybelline. This is when I used to use only drugstore concealers. There was a time when the only concealers I used were from the drugstore because, as I said, I didn't want to pay the high price for high-end or luxury concealers, and I didn't have to because there's a lot of nice options in the drugstore. And this is another example also from Maybelline. These are the Fit Me concealers. And I don't use these to conceal anymore. I actually use these to clean up under my brows. And I see I have 3 and they all look like they've been opened. My goodness, what is wrong with me? So I'm sure these are all, yes, these are all in the shade Cafe, because back when I was buying them, the shade range was Piss Poor, and Cafe was the only, I think it was like the second to deepest shade, and it was the only one that would work for me. They have since expanded the range, and now there are several shades deeper than this. And I could probably find one to work for me to conceal in the summertime if I wanted to, but I've moved on to so many other concealers that I can't even keep up with them. So Cafe works for me, and this is a thinner formula, but again, very nice. The coverage is good. My dark under eye circles have just gotten darker, but the coverage is nice, and love how they blend, and just really nice. And this is the shade that I like. Lately I've been trying to find highlighting shades, and they're not working for me. So I don't know what's going on, but so these are all in the same shade Cafe, and I'm going to keep all of them. My next grouping is from L'Oreal, also from the drugstore, and these are the Pro Glow. So L'Oreal has a matte line, and then they came out with the Pro Glow line, and apparently I liked the Pro Glow line because I bought 3 of them and they look like they're all in the same shade. No, I think one is different. Okay, so this is shade number 8, and then these are both shade number 8. So this is shade number 7, and these are both shades number 8. And they're similar to the Maybelline, except these are a lot, you know, they're not as matte. So that's the shade number 7, which is a nice shade. Looks like it's probably a good shade for me to highlight. And then that is the deeper shade. And I got to a point, you know, I used to be matte everything, even under the eye, but then I got to a point where I realized that matte concealers on my wrinkled under eyes just ages me even more, which is never a look that I'm going for. So I haven't used these in a really long time. I was surprised I even had these. I thought these were more L'Oreal Fit Me's until I put them on the desk here for this video. I'm like, oh wait, this is, I mean, I thought they were Maybelline Fit Me concealers, and they're actually L'Oreal. So apparently I liked them back in the day because, you know, I bought multiples. And again, another concealer that I'm going to have to start putting back into my rotation. So I'm going to keep all three of these. My next grouping is from Urban Decay. Forgot I had these concealers. That's how bad things are here. This is the Naked Skin Concealer, and I'm interested in the Naked collection, their foundations too, but again, the price tag, and now their foundations I think have alcohol in them, but the price tag was just not what I wanted to pay. But I probably got this in a sample or during a sale, tried it, liked it, and then bought it again. I think though I may have bought it from Nordstrom Rack or from Hot Look. I did buy this one and turned out that I really liked it. This is in the shade Dark Golden. And then probably bought this one from Hot Look. They were having a sale, and guessed this one, guessed the shade on this one, which is Dark Warm. So this is a really nice concealer. Not too drying. This is in, which one is this? This is Dark Golden. And then this one is not even out of the box, so I probably swatched it and then just haven't used it yet. This one is even darker, Dark Warm. Yeah, and that's really deep. So this might be one. This one I might be able to wear now as a concealer shade. Yeah, so I'm going to keep both of these. My next grouping is from Benefit, and this is the Boing Cakeless Concealer. I have them in two shades. I bought the mini first because, you know, I didn't want to pay full price, which is like $24, $25 for this concealer. So I bought it in the mini, liked the mini so much that I went on ahead and bought it in the next shade up, which is shade 10. So this is shade 9, this is shade 10. The shade range in these concealers is really piss poor. I really wish they would expand it because the difference between these two shades is really large. And this one I like to use as a highlighting shade. This is practically empty because I did use it so much. This is shade 10, and it's just a little too light for me for highlighting. And then, I'm sorry, this is shade 9. That's shade 9, and this is shade 10, which you will see is a lot darker. But this works as a concealer shade for me. The coverage on these concealers is amazing. Really good. If you have dark under eye circles, mine are really dark, so nothing really cancels that out. But if you have dark under eye circles, this is a great concealer for covering up that or for anything else you want to cover up. It's a thick formulation. And like I said, with all my concealers, I like to let them set for a little bit before I blend them out, and I get the best coverage that way. You don't want this to dry completely down because it makes it more difficult to blend, but while they're still wet, they are very easy to blend. Great coverage. You don't need a whole lot, and I really like these. Again, if they would only expand the shade range, I would definitely buy the next shade up from this. If they had like something like a 9.5, because I would really like to get it in a nice highlighting shade. Really nice concealer, and I will be keeping them both. Finally, my last grouping of concealers is from Too Faced, and it is the Born This Way concealer. This is in the shade Chestnut, and that's the shade I use for concealing, which is right there. And then this is in the shade Butterscotch, and this is the shade that I use for highlighting. And they both work perfectly for those reasons. Now, I bought these as backups a really long time ago because I thought I had come to the end on these. But every time I stick I take the wand out, there's product on it. And yeah, I'm sure I've had these concealers for over a year, and it's like a bottomless pit. Yeah, I think these concealers, you get the most product for a liquid concealer. I think these give you the most amount of product at a half an ounce, which is a lot. So I really need to go ahead and finish these up so that I can maybe break into these. These are the same shades, Butterscotch and Chestnut. I bought them because I like these so much. So yeah, definitely will be keeping these. And those were the last grouping, meaning multiples that I have from one brand. The rest I'm going to show you are all like, you know, strays, sort of. Kind of like strays. And as you can see, there are a lot of them. So some of these will definitely be decluttered, and I'm not going to go and swatch all these because this video is way too long. So this is Inglot, and it's empty, and actually the reason I still have it is because this is their under eye concealer, and I actually liked this concealer and I kept it because, you know, my plan was if I ever repurchased it, I would know what the shade is, and actually my shade is 99, but yeah, I haven't gone back to it, and I can just write the shade down on a piece of paper or in my phone. I don't need to keep this empty container. So this is going to be decluttered. This though I like. I haven't used it in a really in years, but I just remember that I liked it. So nice concealer. This is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo concealer. And I had heard so much about this and I wanted to try it, but I could never find the shade that I thought was even close to, you know, in my local Target. And then I finally found this one. This was Deep Olive. But as you can see, and this is a fairly recent purchase, but as you can see, I bought it like this orange in here. It's separated. It's not even mixed. And it's orange. It's orange, and I'm just not going to use this. So this is being decluttered. This is from NYX. It's the HD Photogenic Studio concealer, and I think this is a concealer I bought a really long time ago, and I think I might have used it once, maybe twice, and immediately decided I didn't like it. This is in the shade Cocoa, and so yeah, this is being decluttered. This is a more recent purchase. This is from Ulta Beauty, and it's their Youthful Glow Concealer with hyaluronic acid. And this is just, the color is all wrong, and the consistency, I said I wasn't going to swatch, but it's so thin. There's barely any coverage. So this is being decluttered. This is the Milani Conceal and Perfect Longwear Concealer. This is in the shade 160 Warm Tan. I think I used it a few times, maybe even more than a few, because I can see in there, but I don't remember liking this concealer. I actually didn't like the foundation either. But yeah, so I have so many, and I didn't love it, so I'm going to get rid of it. This is the concealer from Cover FX, the Power Play concealer. I love the Power Play foundation. It's one of my staple foundations. And so I was really excited to try the concealer, but turns out that they don't make a shade for me. In the foundation, I actually have a winter shade and a summer shade, so I can find my shade in the foundation, no problem. And yeah, I don't like the shade, and the coverage to me isn't that great, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this one. This is another drugstore, another Maybelline product. This is the Better Skin Concealer. This used to be a staple in my collection. This is in the shade Deep. I don't know if they've expanded this shade or not, the Super Stay Better Skin. I haven't used this in a really long time, but I remember that I like it. It's a little bit thinner, but the coverage is good. I love the blendability, and it looks nice on the skin. So this one I will be keeping. And another one I'm gonna have to try to some way fit into the rotation. All right, coming near the end here, these are my most recent purchases. This one I just got and I showed you in a very recent haul. I think it was the Sephora $100 rewards haul. So I didn't actually spend any money on this, and because of that, you know, whatever you buy using the rewards card, you cannot return. So I can't return it, but good thing I didn't spend any money on it, because this color just it just ain't it. It's too neutral. This is in the shade 4W Medium Deep. And again, one of these that's supposed to be a warm shade, and it's just not. It just looks too neutral for my under eye. And I've used this a couple of times, and I actually like the coverage. It's I don't think it's really that radiant, to be honest. I think it's a little more matte, but you know, I don't mind it, and I really like the coverage, but the shade just does not work for me. I've tried it multiple times, doesn't work. So even though this is new, I'm gonna get rid of it. And this is the NARS Radiant Creamy Radiant Concealer. Heard so much about this over the years. They have them in minis now. I thought I would go ahead and try it, and I really don't have an opinion on it, because the shade, once again, just it just looks orange. This is in the shade Walnut Dark. I think that's 2.6, medium dark 2.6. And I don't know, I don't know, maybe in the winters, I don't know, but I don't want to get rid of it. I feel like I want to see if I really like the formula, if I could just get myself to wear it, because I don't like the color, but I'm gonna hold on to it. Down to the final two. This is from Pat McGrath. Finally bit the bullet and purchased one of these. Have been wanting to try this concealer. I've heard so much about it, but it's $32, and if I don't want to pay $25 to $30 for a concealer, I definitely don't want to pay $32. But I got this during the Bergdorf Goodman sale they were having, and it was 25% off, so I figured, well, it's now or never. This is in the shade M20, and again, this is like orange. I know I said I wasn't going to swatch, but it's like, I don't know, it just looks orange to me. So I haven't worn it as much as you would think I would wear a $32 concealer, because the shade I don't like, but I think, because again, I haven't worn it that much, but the couple of times I have worn it, I think I like the formula. It is thick. You only need the slightest amount, and it spreads out all over your face, so really less is more, and it is a nice coverage. So I really do like the formula. I just would like to get it in a better shade. So I think, you know, maybe during the next Pat McGrath sale or the next Sephora VIB Rouge sale, I will try again. Hopefully between now and then I'll be able to go into a Sephora store. I feel comfortable going into a Sephora store and swatching it before I buy it. But yeah, this I'm gonna hold on to. And then last but not least, I think this is my most recent purchase, and I don't know that I've shown this on my channel before, but this is from Colourpop. It's from the Pretty Fresh line, the Hyaluronic Creamy Concealer. This is in the shade Medium Dark 145W. My girl T, Lady T, loves this concealer, and since she loved it, I said, well, I definitely have to try it. And come to find out, I really like it too. The shade, I'm not, once again, I'm not crazy about it. This is it here. This again looks too neutral to me. But you know, during these times, I have to order it online and just make my best guess. So I did, and this isn't, I don't love the color, but I actually do like the formula. I like the way this concealer looks under my my wrinkled, crepey eyes because it's not a matte concealer. So the coverage is decent. You know, it's not great, it's decent, but I do like how it looks under my eyes. So not only will I be keeping this, but when I have the opportunity to explore a different shade, I think I'm going to go ahead and buy it if I find one that I think will work better for me. So yeah, keeping this one. Okay, my mistake. I thought the last one was from Colourpop, the Pretty Fresh, and that was my last purchase, but this is one that almost got left out. And this is a very recent purchase as well. This is from Kevyn Aucoin, and this is the Sensual Skin Enhancer in the shade XX13, which is a peach. I think the description is a warm peach, I want to say. And this is a pot concealer. Actually, it's not my only pot concealer. Now that I think about it, I have an old Laura Mercier concealer that's in another room, so I'm not gonna go down there and get it, that I've had for years, that I carry around actually in my my makeup case, so my makeup bag. So I actually have 64 concealers, and I'm going to keep the Laura Mercier because I like it. It's a pot concealer, it's a cream concealer, and this is also a cream concealer. Now this one, oh my gosh, the coverage on this is better than anything that I've shown you. And because it's a cream pot concealer, you know, that's not unexpected, but wow, is the coverage on this concealer amazing. And I bought this to use as sort of a corrector under my eyes because, again, my under eye dark circles are really dark. It does help, and I do pair it with, you know, my brightening and my concealer shade concealers. So I'm wearing a lot of concealer under the eye, but they don't appear, you know, depending on the other ones that I add to this one, on top of this one, it doesn't make my eye any more crepey or any more dry. So yeah, I like this, and this is, I will never have to buy another one. Like, honestly, you need the smallest amount for this to conceal. So yeah, I actually like this purchase. I'm glad I have it, and yeah, so this finally is the end. Okay, so that was definitely that last one. This is the end. So I really have 64 concealers, including the one I didn't show you, the Laura Mercier in the pot. So of the 64 concealers that I started off with, I am keeping 35 now. I'm keeping 35, and these are the ones that I am getting rid of. So I've pretty much half my collection, which I am very happy about. Now, 35 concealers is still way too many concealers for one person to use, but I pray to God I don't buy any more. Please, and I want you guys to pray for me also. If you liked this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing, because I do these types of videos along with makeup hauls, swatches, and tutorials here on my channel every Saturday. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope to see you again next week. Until then, bye-bye.